How to counteract a bad night's sleep. Look at me all smiling. So, number one, and again, I'm going to try not to ramble. Number one is going to be keeping protein as high as possible, anywhere from 1 gram per pound of body weight, even upwards of 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, depending on your satiation signaling the day after a bad night's sleep. Basically, when you have a extremely bad night's sleep, this is going to massively affect cortisol levels. Cortisol being the stress hormone within the body, which can be useful around our training window. But again, I'm strictly here speaking from a recovery point of view. So when cortisol is increased, this causes a little bit of havoc on kind of our blood sugar, our leptin and ghrelin signaling, which again are our hunger hormones, tell us when we're hungry and when we're full. So this is going to, again, wreak havoc on kind of cravings, wanting more calories in general, just because that satiation factor isn't necessarily going to be where we want it to be. So protein being the most satiating macronutrient, so again, proteins, fats and carbs, out of all three, keeping protein the highest is going to lead to the most satiation possible and keep you full when you perhaps don't know what being full feels like after a good bad night's sleep, because your hunger signaling is all over the shop. So again, keeping protein as high as possible from meats, fish, eggs, low-fat dairy. For those that are vegan, obviously any sort of plant-based protein source, just large quantities, basically, to obviously increase satiation. Number two, again, from an immune system point of view, and again, a recovery point of view, it's going to be keeping vitamins and minerals. So preferably from fruits and vegetables, obviously, but again, you can supplement with extra vitamins, especially D if you're not getting enough sunlight, not if you're getting enough D. So again, supplement with vitamin D if you need to, and then obviously consuming plenty of fruits and vegetables to aid your recovery and immune system, because if you're getting a bad night's sleep, then your immune system perhaps isn't going to be functioning the way we want it to be because you are under-recovered. So obviously, vitamins and minerals, I keep saying vitamins are going to be the primary driver of immune system recovery and immune system health in general. So again, high protein, vitamins and minerals being the two key points so far. Number three is going to be a tacky nap. It isn't going to be a nap that is tacky, it's going to be a tactical nap. So number three is a tactical nap. So anywhere from, and this is what I like to aim for, 40 minutes to 1 hour per day after a bad night's sleep just helps me massively from a recovery point of view, a swelling point of view. So when I don't get a great night's sleep, obviously the increased cortisol causes water retention really badly for me. So I can gain upwards of kind of 3 to 4 pounds just because I feel like I'm holding on to a lot more water. You almost get that puffy kind of podgy look in the mirror. And again, that's just a result of the bad night's sleep causing some unnecessarily water retention. If you've suddenly gained 4 pounds overnight and you've been sticking to your diet, training normally, then basically it's just going to be water retention that is causing that scale weight to go up. And I'm not saying scale weight is the be-all and end-all of everything, but again, it is something that is going to be a contributor and a measure of, whether you're losing fat, gaining muscle, or gaining body fat in general. So number three would basically be try and get some sort of rest and recovery kind of sleep in during the day. Stick a podcast on, feet up on the sofa. That normally works wonders for me. Number four is going to be your training. And I know training is not for everyone. So I'm only going to be speaking obviously to those that do train. And if you're perhaps like me and sometimes trains too much and overtrains and runs yourself into the ground, then this is definitely going to be for you, because I do this a lot too. So after a bad night's sleep, you probably think, no, I still want to train. I can still train really hard. I'll be okay. I'll smash a load of caffeine, which again, don't do that, because caffeine is going to increase cortisol as well. And if you've already got elevated cortisol as a response of lack of sleep, you are just stressing your body out as best as you can, which is the worst thing you can actually do. So limit caffeine is my little bonus one thrown in there before the training tip. So limit caffeine after a bad night's sleep, because again, it will just increase the levels of stress in your body, and the aim is to obviously reduce stress if you've got a bad night's sleep. But from a training point of view, don't think you can just run in there, start throwing weight around that you normally throw around, running your bloody half marathons. Again, I'm talking about myself now. Running your half marathons every week because, you know, it's just routine and you're going to do it anyway. If your body is under recovered, which it will be if you didn't sleep well, and your immune system's not great because that's under recovered, and your central nervous system is feeling a bit crappy too because you haven't allowed that to recover either, because you've been smashing in the caffeine as well just to survive the next day, then training really intensely, which again increases cortisol, not what we necessarily want all the time, is going to be the worst thing you can do. From a training point recommendation, what would I recommend? If someone who did just want to train because they know it is going to make them feel better, just doing a bit of exercise is going to make them feel a bit less stressed the day after a lack of sleep, then I'd say any sort of very, very, very low intensity aerobic work. So aerobic work being keeping heart rate, again, not low, but we're not pushing towards that max heart rate level. It's more of a prolonged endurance-based session. So anything really over 4 to 5 minutes would be classed as aerobic. Anything obviously sub 3, we're looking more into anaerobic potential. But we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be smashing out bouts of high-intensity interval training in sub 3 minute intervals, because that is just going to, again, elevate stress as it would if you were to go in the gym and start throwing around loads of heavy deadlifts. So after a bad night's sleep, definitely focus on some prolonged endurance work, perhaps even stick to more bodyweight stuff. So if you have access right now to bikes, rowers, skipping ropes, and general, obviously you have access to your own body weight. I hope you do anyway. Then obviously any sort of mixture of those exercises and those components within an aerobic kind of zone is going to be the best thing you can do after a bad night's sleep, because there's no stress on your nervous system. We're decreasing almost the intensity through the muscles, which again is just going to reduce kind of the overall stress caused by that lack of sleep. So those are kind of my main points on how to counteract a bad night's sleep. Again, when it comes to sleep, you can't catch up on it. It's not a thing where you go, I get 8 hours every night. I only got 6 last night, so I get an extra 2 tonight. It unfortunately doesn't work like that. You are just going to have to do your best to make sure that the next night is just better. And then the day after that lack of sleep, you basically just need to do everything you can to not stress the hell out of yourself from an internal and external point of view. So staying as stress-free as possible, but also taking care of your health in general. Like I said, supplementing and eating tons of vitamins. I said it again, vitamins. Eating tons of vitamins and minerals, and again, staying as healthy as possible and keeping stress as low as possible. So, Yoda won for me. Thank you, Cal, if he watches this, for my wonderful Christmas present. I have been Jopo, or Jordan, or Coach as it says on my back, and I'll see you in the next one.